Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Ryan Peterson, alongside my good buddy Ryan Gross. Ryan, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. How you doing, Ryan? Very excited to be here.
Alrighty, so this is a brand new podcast series called R Squared Reviews. Again, Ryan, it's a man thing. You get the picture. Both of us are in the world of professional wrestling, in the entertainment world, as they say. But both of us really bonded over the love of musical theater. So we decided to do this little review channel to not only give our reviews on certain shows that we've seen, but also like little extra segments, depending on what you, the fans, suggest to us. Like when we can be about shows that we haven't seen, that we wish we would have seen, shows that we regret seeing, what should come back, the whole 9 yards. Again, it's just our opinion on basically everything Broadway related because we've been around for so long. So today, Ryan, let's talk about what our first episode is going to be all about.
I figured for a good normal episode, we want to keep good company. So maybe we'll start with some good company.
I think so too. So for those that are relatively new in the theater world, Company is a musical comedy created by the late great Stephen Sondheim. Originally debuted back in 1970, and it won numerous Tony Awards and has been plenty of revivals ever since. And this one is the most recent revival, starring Katrina Lenk and Tony Award winner Patti LuPone. So, Ryan, you started off. Your initial thoughts going into this.
All right, so I've actually seen Company twice on this go around. I saw it once with Ryan and once with my wife. And, I really didn't know what Company was about. I didn't really do my research, but going into it blind, I have to say it was a lot of fun, and I loved it. I mean, the cast was phenomenal. It had some of my favorite Broadway stars on it. Christopher Sieber, one of my favorites. The first time I saw it, I think his name is Christopher Fitzgerald, was in it. His understudy was in it the second time. The understudy was what's his name? Terrence Archie. Fantastic. And yeah, no, the music, the comedy was good. I loved it. My wife loved it. My wife isn't as big of a Broadway fan as I am, but when she says something is good, I tend to believe it's good. Yeah. So, and it's funny because the thing with Company is it's one of those shows that I just feel like it's very relatable because either at this point in our lives, we're either married or we have that one unmarried friend that, we swear we have somebody, we know somebody that'd be great for you, that one friend
that's me. That unmarried person is me.
That one friend that, is just so great. But yeah, what were your thoughts on Company?
So I know a little bit about Company. Like I've never seen any of the productions. I've seen when they did the live concert versions online when they did it. I think it was at Carnegie Hall. And going in, I was in the original story, which I really liked about this one was that this version was different because they actually swapped the main roles because the original version of Company had Bobby as a male, whereas this one had Bobby as a female. And I loved, the gender swap of all that. And also, speaking of, genders swap, they actually made one of the couples a gay homosexual couple, which I loved.
Now, I gotta say about the gay couple, Paul and Jamie, I think their characters' names were. First of all, Matt Doyle won a Tony for the role, Best Featured Actor, and he absolutely deserved it. I thought he was. There's so many people in that I could say was a scene stealer, and he was definitely one of them.
Oh, absolutely,
definitely one of them. That song, "I'm Not Getting Married Today," it was just so perfect. He just standing ovation.
Absolutely, both times when I saw it, oh my
Yeah,
god! I was the one that gave the standing ovation.
yeah,
Um,
no,
but no, again, the concept was phenomenal. This version won 5 Tony Awards this past season, including Best Revival, Best Featured Actress in Patti LuPone, Best Featured Actor in Matt Doyle, Best Scenic Design, and Best Director in Marianne Elliott, which I very well deserve. I think this is her third directorial win as well.
oh wow.
So
Do you
she's
know
there.
what were the other shows she won for?
I do not remember, but thank God we have these, so I can actually as a little like magazine research. Again, folks, we're just doing this on the fly. We're doing this on the fly, like no notes ahead of time. We're trying to. I think from what I see on here. Okay, she won Best Director for The Curious Incident of the Day and the Nighttime. She also directed War Horse, and also the revival of Angels in America.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I think and from what I see on here, I think she won for. Okay, she won for the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime and Angels in America. So this is her third Tony Award win.
Well, I have to say, after seeing this show, she definitely deserved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what was interesting was the orchestra. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Ryan? How they did it, the show.
So again, for those that are relatively new to the theater, or obviously theater fanatics, normally the theater orchestra, the pit orchestra, would be in the pit, hidden, or if it's a jukebox musical and it's a small band or something like Waitress or Once, the musicians are on stage. This one, however, it's a full-blown orchestra, but it was on an elevated platform above the stage because in the opening number, Company, the curtain opens up to a certain point, and the cast is singing phone rings, door, here comes company, normal. And then when it came to the second time around, when they sang phone rings, door times, just comes company, you see the curtain rise up a little bit more, revealing the orchestra, which got a huge ovation right in the beginning of the show. And that's something I've never seen on mainstream theater before. I've seen it when they did the live concerts at city centers, Carnegie Hall, all that stuff, but never seen a full-blown orchestra on an elevated platform where everyone can see them the entire time. And it didn't take away from any of the action going on from the actors and actresses, which I think is even better.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. It didn't take you away from the show at all. Getting back to the opening song, I always say in theater, the most important songs should be the first one and the last one. The first one really sets the tone and the mood for the rest of the show. And I have to say, Company has such a crazy, chaotic number in such a small space, but it's so good. I just love everything that's going on in that one song.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, the last song is always also important as well.
Oh yeah.
Being Alive, which is also an iconic song. I've heard numerous versions of it, and obviously seeing it twice with Katrina Lenk. And some of the critics were giving her a hard time, on her performance. But my opinion, I thought she did great both times.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you. I'm aware of these negative reviews on her behalf, but she just really belts out those numbers. And it's just like you really feel for her in those moments that that she's singing them. Being Alive in particular. And I mean she was just so good in that role, as Bobby. It's just, Bobby's not my favorite character, but she was a good character, just we all know Bobby in real life. And I just think that's what makes the show so relatable.
Absolutely, especially when this might sound a little controversial, especially when when it's a female Bobby, not a male Bobby, because
Yes. There's a
yeah, go
societal
ahead.
there's a societal perception. And me and Ryan have talked about this. The importance of gender swapping this role in particular is because, societal norms. Like, it's okay if a guy's 35 and single, yeah, he's just living his best bachelor lifestyle. But a woman, it's like, oh, she doesn't have kids, she's not married. Is there something wrong with her? And it's very unfortunate in that aspect. But I mean, I just thought that was such a good casting call on their behalf. And then just even adding in Jamie and Paul, I loved that couple. I mean, I honestly have to say, in this show, I don't think there was a weak link at all. I just like any actor in the show really brought all to the role, and yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And by the time that this this recording comes out, unfortunately, the show will either be closing at the end of July or already closed. Again, depending on when this gets uploaded. Which I was very surprised because Company was the only show, was basically the only show that won the Tony Awards this past year. I mean, the most Tony Awards, which obviously proves that this year's Tony Awards were very tough.
Yeah, there was no clean sweep for any show.
That's what you normally would expect, especially with the starter, from what I'm hearing, being a Strange Loop. But no, they only won like 2 Tony Awards, which I was again very surprised.
Yeah,
mostly every show had at least one award win. I said mostly because there was a couple that didn't win. That's for another time. But when I read, I think they announced it a week after the awards that they were closing at the end of July, but announcing a tour at the end of 2023-24. I'm like, wait, why is it closing so soon? If the sales were going good, especially when Ryan and I both saw both performances, and it was a packed house both nights.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there is that rumor that it was contract changes, and maybe they felt like they couldn't survive all these new contracts coming in. Again, just a rumor. I'm not sure on the valid how valid that is as a statement, but I mean, who knows what it is?
Could it also be? Again, this might be a little controversial, but the organization that owns the Jacobs Theater, could they be kind of favoriting the new show that's coming in there? I believe in October, Almost Famous.
I don't know.
It's a controversial question. I know that.
Wasn't Almost Famous going to a different theater before they decided they would just take over where Company is?
I don't think so.
Isn't the Bernard Jacobs Theater one of the smaller theaters?
I believe so. I mean, the reason why I brought that up with the controversial, theater change, because a few years ago we had something like that happen in theater as Beetlejuice abruptly got kicked out to make room for the Music Man.
You know what?
So that's why I suggested. Could it be some? Because again, why would a show abruptly? Because normally when they announce a show is closing, 99% of the time it's they give them until like the end of the summer to let it. Dear Evan Hansen, around the same time too, Dear Evan Hansen and Come From Away announced that they were closing, but Dear Evan Hansen is closing September 17th, I believe it is, and Come From Away is closing into the beginning of October.
I mean, even the Tina musical is closing in October. I mean, you knew about that like 2 months ago.
No, Tina's closing in August.
Oh, is it August?
August 14th.
Oh, why did I think it was October? Maybe it's Come From Away I'm thinking of.
Come From Away October 2nd, but still, like I said, those two shows right around the same time they were announcing that they are right around the same time as Company that they're closing on Broadway, but the other two shows have a longer run. So why is Company having a very shorter run? Again, like Ryan said, could be contractual issues, which again that could be a possibility too. But again, also I'm just going back by with my theory of potentially I believe it's the Schubert organization. The Schubert organization, kind of being nitpicky, saying, you know what, the company is good, but we want to hop on this. We want to hop on the potential jukebox musical bandwagon, and let's bring in Almost Famous. Just saying my opinion on the whole thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because I read an article not that long ago about the curse of Steven Sondheim, like basically his era of musical being over. I mean, I really don't feel like that's the case, because I do feel like Steven Sondheim is one of the most important, influential people in musical theater. I mean, there's a time and place for everything, and maybe just right now, I mean, because you have to remember, Company was supposed to open back in 2020 before COVID happened.
Right.
That show would be going on its second year had COVID not happened.
But then
So
and then also Beetlejuice would still be at the Winter Garden had COVID not happened.
no, I don't. Beetlejuice had a closing date. They were. It was like somewhere in the middle of March. Beetlejuice was done with the Winter Garden. They were looking for another theater. You know what? I just want to say, good for Beetlejuice, man. I've seen Beetlejuice. I plan on seeing Beetlejuice again. It was such a fun show. We'll save this for like a later day. But good for Beetlejuice being the underdog story that just showed producers how wrong they were and found a second home. Because that show was just so much fun. You know what?
Oh my God.
A show like Beetlejuice, I don't mean to get too into it, but I always tell people who aren't into Broadway, I'm like, you just have to find your show. Like there is a show out there for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And once you find it, maybe Broadway will be more your thing. And Beetlejuice just proves that to me.
Oh, absolutely. But again, that's for another time.
Oh yeah.
One other thing that I liked about Company was the set design, because at some point you have like a full-on apartment, and then at some point you have like a little square that's like like an outdoor terrace, and also resemblance of a small New York City apartment in Bobby's apartment. And then also at one point you have the name Company spelled out in massive Roman letters.
I gotta tell you a funny story about that. So like I said, I've seen Company twice. The second time I saw it with my wife, when they bring the letters NYC to the forefront,
right?
And then I forget the first guy's name, but he's the he's the one with all the tattoos and the long hair and everything. He sings Another 100 Dudes Cut Off the Train.
Oh yeah, I'm actually like trying to find out another PJ.
Yeah, what's his name? PJ?
Yeah, I think it was PJ. Yeah.
So when PJ and Bobby were sitting on the sea, the letter just like gives out. So when they're just sitting on a darkened letter, I don't know if it's shorted or what happened, but it was actually kind of funny because I mean that's live theater. Anything could happen during live theater. You just move on with the show, like act like nothing's happening. I just thought it was funny because my wife turns to me and she goes, "Oh, I don't think the letter C is supposed to be doing that right now. I don't think it's working." I just thought that was so funny. Reminds me of the time I saw Addams Family on Broadway. Nathan Lane and Terrence Mann were just looking at each other, and you can see Terrence Mann trying so hard not to laugh, and he just gives in. He just gives in, breaks out in laughter. It's live theater. It happens. It also happened in Waitress when I saw it. That's the beauty of live theater. It's not going to always be perfect, but it's great.
Now here's my question to you. What were, out of all the songs that were in the show in Company, what were your top three?
All right, so I know what my top three should be, but I'm gonna give you like my honest answers. So right off the bat, Company. I loved Company, the opening song. I just thought it was great. For whatever reason, I really loved Side by Side by Side. It's just a fun song. I also want to say Getting Married Today, but I'm not going to. I mean, it's a fantastic song. And I mean, realistically, it's probably tied for number 2. But I'm also going to say You Could Drive a Person Crazy. I just loved when they all came out the door and they were all singing about quitting Bobby. It's just a fun song. Plus, I just really love the character of Andy.
Yeah.
Just like the more you get to know Andy in that show, it's just like,
Oh my god.
oh, you poor stupid thing. You're just, oh man, just Andy. I just felt like Andy was a scene stealer too. How about what are your three songs?
So mine is definitely top one. Like my top one is definitely not getting married today, because that one is like one of the hardest songs to sing
Oh yeah,
in theater, because
absolutely.
it's the lyrics are very like fast paced. Like basically you're like the Energizer Bunny going at like 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
Definitely Company is number two. And number three, in my opinion, is The Ladies Who Lunch, because it's Patti LuPone. But I do have a few honorable mentions. Definitely You Can Drive a Person Crazy, but also Barcelona.
Oh, Barcelona is so great.
Oh my
And
god.
there's I think it's at the end of Barcelona where she's basically seeing her life in front of her eyes. And it just gets so many big laughs because it's just there's so much going on. It's just then on the side over there's Patti LuPone in the red dress peeing on the toilet, just like
While drinking bourbon.
while drinking bourbon, just giving like this look of such disgust. It's just so funny. Barcelona is definitely an honorable mention. Um, and you know what? The Ladies Who Lunch and Not Getting Married Today are both great songs, and there's a reason why they get standing ovations. Again, it's just based on opinions. I'm not saying these are the best songs; it's just my personal favorite. But I would definitely give honorable mentions. I don't really think that there was when you go to these shows, I feel like sometimes there's a song that doesn't hit the way other songs do. I feel like Company had a very solid soundtrack. I feel like
Oh,
it had a
absolutely.
very, very solid cast. Now I want to ask you a question. Um, Excluding Patti LuPone, what would you say were three standouts in the show? Excluding Patti LuPone and Katrina Lenk, like because I always like to give recognition
Right.
to like I don't want to call them supporting characters.
All right. So besides those two, obviously those were like my top picks. But
Of
besides,
course.
definitely Matt Doyle. He definitely deserves that Tony
Yes.
Award. Also Chris Sieber.
Yes, I love Christopher Sieber.
Sieber was great
Yes.
in his role. In his role as and also I'm trying to pull him up too. My apologies on this. The person that played Andy.
Oh, Clybourne Elder.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was great.
Oh yeah.
He was great. He was great playing the stupid airhead pilot.
Yeah. I just there was something about he was stupid, and like even some of the lines he said where he acknowledged being stupid. It was a very funny character.
I think especially when he mentioned the when him and Bobby were in the bed.
Yes.
He's like telling like a story. He's telling a story that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Come on, get on with it. Can you finish up? It's like it was. Oh, it was that like definitely like threw me. And then also in Barcelona when especially towards the end it's like okay, I'll stay. He takes off his shirt. He starts like doing a striptease. I'm like,
It's funny. One of my favorite parts of Barcelona was Randy, Andy, Andy. Like, that was just all.
thank you.
It was
Oh
such a
my
funny song.
god.
I mean, even the lead up into that song where he tells a ridiculous story, and then she goes and tells her own story, and it's just you can see all she wants to do is she's just trying to get some for him.
Yeah, especially when he starts like, hold on. That story does not kind of mingle with my story as well.
I gotta tell you, so my wife's favorite part in the whole play comes in that song when they're doing their thing and all the guy friends just start walking in.
Oh my god! Especially when a couple of them come to the crowd.
Oh no, not even that. When he's like underneath the sheets with her, and the guys are just sitting on the bed, and they're talking to her like basically saying like he's no good for you. It's just
Oh,
so
the song "Poor Baby." That was all my.
yeah, that is hysterical. That was hysterical. It's unfortunate that this particular cast doesn't have a cast recording out. But if anyone is interested in listening to the music, the 2018 version, the London version, it's a great cast recording.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those albums. The more I listen to it, the more I love it. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what would you out of we so on this particular podcast, we're gonna do we do like a 5-star rating review. So Ryan, what would you rate Company?
I mean, overall, I'd have to say of all the shows I like, Company's definitely up there. It's a fun show. It's funny. The music is great. The cast was great. I would probably give it a solid 4.5 stars out of 5. So it's definitely up there.
Oh, I agree. Definitely 4.5 stars. Definitely up there. It's like possibly my top 5 that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, again,
and I've seen a lot.
The word I described Company to when I saw it with Ryan the first time was cute, but it's just like I mean, I'm one of those people that after a show, it's just like I really have to like just like take it in a little bit before I can give you like my real honest opinion. And like seeing Company for a second time, it's just like I just loved it even more. And if it wasn't closing so soon, I'd probably go see it a third time.
I think also what made like when you and I went, I think what made it even better, which I've never experienced this in theater at all, was that the way that our seats were when the show ended, we were literally the first people to leave. I swear, it was like the fastest I ever like left the theater ever.
It's funny because at the end of the show, we were kind of tired. We just wanted to get home, and for that show, we were on the left side. For the show I went with Kelsey, we were on the right side. I was like, like me and Ryan got lucky the first time because it's like we were literally the first 2 people out the door. We were just like right out.
We're like, hey, out the door.
It's funny though, because when you see the show with different people, you get different perspectives on the show. And I do think that's why seeing the show with my wife is funny because we saw a lot of ourselves in some of the couples. I also just want to say really quick, one of the standouts for me were, I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, but Jennifer Simard, who played Christopher Sieber's wife. She was hysterical. And
I think she was nominated for a Tony as well this year.
For his featured actress?
I think so.
I could see it. I mean, she was so funny in that role. And you know what? She did her own thing in that role. It's so different than anybody else who's played that role before. And it's like I respect that.
Especially when she was doing like the sit-ups, the push-ups. Oh my god.
It's funny because again, it's just like when you go see that show with your significant other, you do tend to see a lot of yourself in a show like that. And all you can do is laugh at it because it's so funny.
Another reason why I gave it 4.5 stars was the pacing of the show. The show was about 2.5, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. It was, time-wise, it's long, but they kept the pace going and going and going. I'm like, okay, here's something. Like there wasn't anything really like that killed time.
No,
like
I agree with you on that.
They just kept, going and going and going. So definitely. So when it comes on tour in next year, 2023, we highly recommend seeing it.
Oh yeah.
It probably won't be the same cast, but concept-wise and the way that they handled everything, definitely worth go seeing.
But I will say, like, basically to agree with what Ryan said on the pacing, if a show is bad, it feels long. If a show is good, intermission comes up in no time. It's just like, wow, the show's already half over. So most shows do run the 2.5 hour length, but like I said, a good show does not feel long at all.
Absolutely. I've been to shows where it's been like 2.5 hours, but it was like, oh, just hurry up already. I want to get out of here.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of shows like that too. It's funny because
and I joined in the standing ovation, but not only because it's not the actors and actresses' fault and whatnot. The real reason why I was cheering was because the show's over. I can leave.
it's funny because some of my least favorite shows are some of the better reviewed shows. I'm excited to get into that. I don't think I'm going to curry any favor with people, but I mean, if you're interested in finding out what those shows are, you're going to have to stay tuned with us, and eventually we'll get to those.
Absolutely, and guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in on our debut episode. I think our test run. We're calling it our debut test run.
Not to cut you off, I just want to say one more thing. Before you bring us into our finish. The one thing about the Broadway community is just like anyone you've ever talked to, fan wise, just like message groups, anything. I gotta say, the Broadway community is probably one of the best communities to like be a part of. So I am looking forward to people who listen to this, like their honest feedback and just anything they might have to say, because I mean, Broadway community has been one of the best communities I've ever been associated with.
Absolutely, and I think the main thing is it's respectful. That's
yes, absolutely.
It's very respectful. Everyone's there for each other, and when you and I went to go see Company the first time, we were sitting next to a couple of people, and they were very talkative, like interacting with us.
Yeah. No, I mean they were there. They won the lottery also.
They traveled further than us. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and they do this semi-regularly. They're very nice people. I find that every show I go to, people usually sit next to me, will talk to me, even if it's briefly. And it's just, like I said, the people you meet are just very nice people. And that's what I love about the community of Broadway. It's not, I mean, we're all there for the same reason, it's not very judgy.
No, not at all. And we're all there enjoying the same love and passion for musical theater as the next person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, guys, this has been fun. If you guys share leave a comment, subscribe, whatever. Subscribe, follow us. Eventually social media will be picking up soon. We know that. Again, this is a test run to see how everything goes. But again, leave a comment. We don't sugarcoat it. Be honest. We honestly we rather have honesty than sugarcoating and BSing. So anyway, guys, and also if you like the name of the show, R Squared Reviews, leave a comment, or leave a comment if you like any other ideas. We want to hear from you guys what you think, and also any potential future episode ideas that you'd like for us to talk about. But anyway, and also our next one, we might be heading into kind of a strange loop. That's a little teaser per se.
Excited about that one. We cannot wait to talk about that show.
Oh my God, that would be for next time. But anyway, guys, Ryan Gross, I'm Ryan Peterson. Hope you are in good company, and we'll see you all on the next one.